The Athletics keep coming back. Yesterday, down 5 runs in the first inning, the green and gold crept their way back into the game on the south side of Chicago. Nick Martini delivered the knockout blow. His first major league hit and RBI was the difference in a tight contest versus the White Sox. Today, the A's go for the series win. A's and White Sox next. We are at Guaranteed Rate Field here in Chicago on a gorgeous day for baseball. Final game of the series. It's the A's and the Chicago White Sox coming up.
that comes through every time. See your local Toyota dealer today. Toyota. Let's go places. By Southwest Airlines. Low fares. No hidden fees. That's transparency. And by Jack in the Box. Try the $5.99 Jack Spicy Chicken Club combo with toasted sourdough. New from Jack in the Box.
Welcome back to Guaranteed Rate Field. That is Carlos Rodon, the big left-hander. He's going to start today for the Chicago White Sox. And for the A's, they're trying to win the series. They won 2 out of the first 3 games in this 4-game set. Let's check out the game time weather for today. And it's a beauty. Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk is our sponsor. Get to the beach. The admission-free boardwalk is open daily. 71 degrees and not real humid. Lots of sunshine and just about a perfect day for baseball here in Chicago. Shower's ready in case you need it, although right now it's not too bad. So as Rodon starts his warm-up tosses, let's take a look at the A's starting lineup, brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Simeon at short, Pinder in left, Lowry at third, Davis the DH, Olsen at first, Piscotty in right, Canna in center, Lucroy the catch, and Franklin Barreto is your second baseman.
And it is the tall one for the Chicago White Sox facing the Athletics for the first time here at his home park, as he is making his 4th start against the Athletics. But he's been good. Mostly fastballs. He'll throw the 2 and 4-seam fastballs. He can get strikeouts. He can get ground ball outs, and he's been a pretty good pitcher. But against the A's, trying to see what he can do against them here for the first time.
Defensively for the White Sox, Garcia, Engel, Garcia in the outfield. Sanchez, Anderson, Moncada, Abreu on the infield. Narvaez is back behind the plate. So we are set for baseball from Chicago as Marcus Semien, the former White Sox, steps in, facing Carlos Rodon. And Rodon kicks and deals. The first pitch of the game is right in there for a strike.
That first pitch is why some hitters will jump on the first pitch and hit a home run, because it might be the best pitch they get in the at-bat.
Second pitch is popped up shallow center. It's going to be Engel, the center fielder, who trots in to make the catch, and that's the first out of the ball game. So here's Chad Pinder. So a wild one yesterday as the A's came back to win the game 7-6 after trailing 5-0 after 1 inning. So a very good victory for the A's. The bullpen was terrific. First pitch to Pinder is lined off Rodon. He gets to it and flips to first. And now we'll see if Carlos Rodon is okay. He's a big, strong fella. But that ball was hit right back at him.
As we take a look at the tall lefty, we'll give you a chance to give you the Nissan key to the game, and he's okay. Key to the game for be the home run for the road. That would be good, because they need to get one to get to the 25th consecutive game on the road with at least 1 home run. That would break the major league record. So see if they can do it today against this lefty. Nissan key to the game.
So here's Lowry. Rodon kicks. His first pitch to Lowry is right on the outside corner for a strike. Lowry at .284, 11 home runs and 50 runs batted in. Lowry with 21 doubles. He's got 1 triple. He's got an on-base percentage of .341. He's got a slugging percentage of .472.
Why not hit a home run? Just get it over with.
Get it out of the way.
Get it out of the way. Did it earlier yesterday.
Just got under it. Almost a great call by Ray Foss. Keep doing it, Ray. We'll get a home run today. So 3 up, 3 down inning for Carlos Rodon. White Sox in the bottom of the first. Their starting lineup brought to you by Southwest Airlines, and here it is. Moncada, switch hitter. Garcia, Abreu. Palka, Anderson. Sanchez, a switch hitter. Narvaez. Garcia again, he's another switch hitter, and then Adam Engel. So 3 switch hitters in the lineup for Chicago.
And the Bay Area product, Paul Blackburn, on the mound for the Athletics to face the White Sox for the first time. This will be his 4th start since returning from the disabled list. You could throw out to start against the Astros. Pitched well against the Royals in his first start. His last start, as we detailed on our open, he pitched extremely well after the first 2 innings. Settled down with 3 solid, giving up the 2 runs. Got a chance to hit a couple of times. Getting back to normal today and trying to continue to do what he did all of last year when he came up. Pitched well. Hopes to get a lot of ground ball outs today.
First pitch to Moncada is low. Moncada, Garcia, and Jose Abreu here in the first. 224 the average for Moncada. 9 home runs, 26 RBIs. I want to touch on what we talked about in the open of our show again, just to say clarify, but we talked about Blackburn, the fact that he only made 1 rehab start. He was in the big leagues, and then maybe could have used a couple more. But the point was, is the A's needed him.
Exactly.
I mean, we didn't want to make it sound like, hey, the A's should not have called him up. No, they needed him.
Right. Well, the number of injuries to the starting staff, you're exactly right. And, you know, it's tough for a pitcher, and you know, people should realize that, say, if he struggles against somebody, you know, about a late call there with Mr. Holbrook.
Defensively, the A's will have Pinder, Canna, and Piscotty in the outfield. Lowry, Simeon, Barreto, and Olsen on the infield, and Jonathan Lucroy is the catcher.
But you're right about that, because if a pitcher is on his rehab assignment, he can try to work on some things, get his arm strength back. But all of a sudden he makes 1 and he's thrust into a major league situation where he's facing major league hitters, and especially for him at a time when they're in midseason form, you know, he's going to have some struggles. And again, while he pitched extremely well against the Royals, struggled a bit against the Astros, but they're a very good team. But it looked like in his last start against the Padres, after the first 2, settled down, and he's now pitching maybe those last 3, and hopefully today the way he would, having had his normal number of times on a rehab assignment.
Says in the young career of Paul Blackburn, he's been much better on the road than at home.
But he's basically a sinker slider, almost like a reliever.
Broken bat toward left field. Pinder's there, and he's got it. The bat, a good chunk of the bat, ends up just up the third base line. So 2 outs here in the bottom of the first. Today, any 95-mile-per-hour fastball is our fast pitch, brought to you by Xfinity, the fastest Wi-Fi at home and on the go.
And let's hope you don't see 1 from Paul Blackburn.
No.
Because I think Scott Emerson, when I was asking him about, in this particular case, it was Kendall Graveman, and he said sometimes for a sinker ball pitcher, you don't want him to throw too hard because he throws through the sink, which means that if you throw hard, the ball doesn't move. And they always say about sinker ball pitcher, you hope he gets tired because the ball will move more because there's less velocity. But I think in the case of Paul Blackburn, he realizes his best part of pitching would be getting ground ball outs, and if he gets strikeouts, that's fine. But he wants to minimize the number of pitches per at bat and get him hit the ball on the ground, get quick outs.
2-0 to Jose Abreu. And that one's ripped to left field. A's have a man there. It's Pinder on the backhand side, retired. No score after 1 from Chicago.
game day experience with the MLB Ballpark app. Access and manage your tickets. Enjoy check-in offers, exclusive content, and much more. Download the MLB Ballpark app today. Oh, all the technology, man, making it easy to come out and enjoy a baseball game. Nice, beautiful day here in Chicago. A's trying to win again and head to Detroit for a 4-game series with a nice, tidy beginning to this 10-game road trip.
Chris Davis to lead it off. First pitch is on the outside corner first time. Wanted to let our viewers know we are going to have a little fun today. Not that we don't every day, but today we're going to honor the great Hawk Harrelson, who is in the booth next to us, and there he is, and he's working on Sundays, right, Ray? Sunday home games?
Sunday home games, and also Cubs games. But as he emphatically says, only here. I would never go to that park on the north side. I would never go there again.
So his 33rd and final season, he's a treasure.
Well, and you know the nice thing too, Kai, on January 1 of 2020, he's going to stay in some capacity as an ambassador. But on January 1, 2020, it'd be 8 decades that he would have been in baseball. 8 decades, which is pretty special.
So what we're going to do today, and give our terrific producer Delaire LaWars a lot of credit. He did a bunch of work and he dug up some of Hawk's, I don't want to say great calls, because you think of a call, you think of a home run or a no-hit or something like that. We're just going to have some of Hawk's best opinions. How about that during a telecast? And you may have heard some of them, but they will make you laugh, and they make us laugh. And we're going to do it in honor of Hawk. He doesn't care. He doesn't mind that we're doing it. So Chris Davis strikes out. First strikeout for Rodon.
Rodon at one time, he's had 3 previous starts, and this is not a surprising 95 on the outside corner. He in one game a couple of years ago, actually last year, he retired 11 in a row. 6 of those were with strikeouts. So he can get the strikeouts. He again has done a very good job, but never faced the A's here in these throwback uniforms that they wear on Sundays, in honor, I think, of the '83 division champion, managed by the great Tony La Russa.
Pitchcast brought to you by SoFi, a modern finance company. Well, Carlos Rodon, if he stays healthy, well, he's pretty good. When he started this year on the disabled list, he had left shoulder surgery last September. He's got the goods. He just needs to stay healthy. Last year, he began the season on the disabled list. He made 12 starts and then went back on the disabled list. Had the surgery in September, and now just getting back, and this is his 4th start. But if he could stay healthy, he has a chance to be a very, very good pitcher. And that's going to be a base hit. Thank you for the White Sox shifting on Matt Olson, and that's the first hit of the game.
Oh, man. Well, you're right, Kev. Last year on July the 3rd, he made a start against the Athletics. It's only his 2nd start of the season. So to your point about staying healthy, but here's Matt Olson, and again, the ideal stroke. And look where the second baseman is playing and where the ball is hit. That is your routine ground ball to second base, but second baseman Moncada was playing him more to pull. But 2 strikes, it does change, and I think Matt Olson proved that on that pitch. That with 2 strikes, maybe not as aggressive as we've seen him, especially swinging and hitting home runs.
Piscotty tries to hold up on the slider from Rodon. He cannot do it. Rodon was the 3rd player taken in the 2014 draft. 3rd player. It said it's the White Sox highest pick since Harold Baines. Harold Baines was the #1 pick. There's a shot fair down the 3rd base line. Olson hits the bag at second. Matt Williams looking down into the corner, and Matt Williams puts the hands up, holds Olson. So Piscotty stays hot. He's got a double. Matt Williams looking down into the corner to see if Garcia was going to pick it up clean, and he did.
That's a great point, Kat, because a great third base coach, and Matt Williams is one of the best. He will watch. He'll have the runner coming. It's important for the runners to run hard to Matt, because he might send you based on what happens down in the corner. And the fact that Garcia does pick it up cleanly, Matt is running hard to Matt, and Matt, the other Matt at third base coaching, stops him. And now the A's, with a ground ball, except to the pitcher, can score a run, and that's the important thing for Mark Canha, who's already homered against him.
So there's a pitch a little bit outside. You see what Matt Olson did too? He did it perfect. He's running towards second, and the play's right in front of him,
Yeah.
so he can look and see.
Exactly.
But as soon as he makes the left turn and is start heading for third base, don't keep looking for Levitt. Just look at your coach, and that's what he did. Right when he got past second base, he picked up Matt Williams. Garcia, he's got a good arm. He backs up. Olson tags. Garcia's throw to the plate is just a little late. It bounces off of Narvaez. So it's going to be a sacrifice fly for Mark Canha, and the A's grab a 1-0 lead here in the second inning. So Canha with a good at bat. Picks up his 26th RBI. But this is what we're talking about, Ray. Watch Olson. He's looking right at the ball because the play's in front of him.
Yeah.
And there he's got Matt Williams. And you see so many guys, they'll be looking over their shoulder.
Exactly. They can't see the third base coach, and you wonder why, hey, they run through the stop sign, or they just cannot have the good stride. And Matt Olson, you're right, did it perfectly. Sees the ball and then picks up the third base coach. And really, Matt Williams becomes the eyes for the base runner as he approaches third. And every third base coach will tell the runners, you run to me hard, I'll tell you what to do.
Well, we have seen guys hit a ball in the right field corner and running between first and second, they're looking over their shoulder.
Thank you. Which, isn't that like riding a bike where it slows you down?
It definitely slows you down.
Or maybe you fall down. Well, that's a good at bat by Mark Canha, because he did not roll over, didn't get a ground ball, could have gone back to the pitcher, hits it to right field, even though the strong arm of Garcia. Airborne, threw it in the air, but close enough and low enough that runner at second, Piscotty, could not go to third.
0-2 now to Luke Croy. A's have now scored 23 runs so far in this series. They've outscored the White Sox 23-14. Of course, the game on game one of the doubleheader on Friday certainly helped when the A's won 11-2. Bends Lucroy back out of the way.
Now Lucroy thinking maybe outside, this ball up and in, and while it's inside, it's good. The bad part, it's at his head. And a little shake of the head by Lucroy. A wrong guy to throw. You know, if it's a catcher, he can control a lot behind the plate. But Rodon just trying to set up the outside part of the plate, which he did.
Emerson throws to first, and that is out number 3. But the A's get a run, a sacrifice fly by Mark Canha. 1-0 Athletics.
California is brought to you by the Chrysler Pacifica Hybrid, America's first hybrid minivan. Test drive one today.
A's with a 1-0 lead. We are headed to the bottom of the second here in Chicago. So it was Wet on Thursday with a rain out. It was overcast and a little damp on Friday for the doubleheader, but nice weather yesterday and very nice weather again today. Tell you what, Ray, the sun comes out and the weather gets nice this time of year. Lake Michigan is jammed.
Oh, yeah.
And it was packed yesterday, and I'm sure it's packed again today. Lots of boats.
Can't blame the people that wait all winter for that.
2-0 to the designated hitter Daniel Polka. 6 home runs, 22 RBIs for Polka. And he hits one very high, shallow right. Piscotti looking up into that bright sunshine, and he's got it. So 1 out here in the bottom of the 2nd inning.
Well, for a ground ball pitcher, 3 of the first 4 batters hit it with fly ball outs. That's not good. But you know, for Paul Blackburn, remember his last start, as we emphasize, the first 2 innings, 46 pitches against the Padres. They scored 2, so he's way ahead of the game right now.
He ended up throwing 85 pitches in those 5 innings on Tuesday. Here's Tim Anderson. Anderson's been the White Sox best hitter in this series. He's 5 for 12 with a couple of home runs and a double. White Sox are 25 and 51. They have lost 9 out of their last 10. They're 13 and 26 at home. They will stay home after this series. They'll have an off day tomorrow, and then they will host the Minnesota Twins Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday before heading out on a long road trip of their own. Lowry spins around and throws out Anderson 2 away.
Well, this is a big home run for the White Sox. In the first inning is a 3-run home run, 2nd and 3rd with 2 outs. And Daniel Mingden, who would leave the next inning, and this ball just over the stretch of Daniel Stevens Piscotti in right field. But Daniel Mingden was sent back to the Bay Area to get his right foot checked. And to push off, it's the same foot, Cap, that he had injured last year. Remember, he got a slow start, but he ended up having the fracture and got it taken care of. Then came up late and pitched extremely well. But as the skipper said, same foot, different location.
Different spot.
Yeah, so at least he's back in the Bay Area. We'll wish him well and see what happens with him.
Also, Ryan Buchter
Yeah.
is going to be activated tomorrow in Detroit. So that's a huge addition to this A's bullpen. They have missed Buchter. So the A's will get Buchter back tomorrow, and we'll just wait to see what is going to happen with Daniel Mingden.
Well, the one thing for sure, with Buchter coming back, we're already seeing the velocity from Trevino.
Marcus on the dive, juggles, throws, not quite in time. Terrific play by Marcus Semien, and he just juggled it before he threw it a little bit, and I think if he would not have done that, they would have got Yomer Sanchez.
And his arm strength on his knees is spectacular. He tried it, but at that point could not, and then by the time he came up, knowing he needed to get a little bit extra on the throw, he's going to throw from his knees, but the ball didn't transfer correctly, and by the time he made the adjustment, tried to get a little bit extra by standing up, it was not enough time. But a great effort, slightly playing him to pull with the ball to his right. Evidently this infield is, while it's a major league infield, but probably it's a few bad hops in it maybe.
Well, Marcus saw a couple of them yesterday.
Yes, he did.
Here's Omar Narvaez, who had 3 hits in the game he started, the game of the second game of the doubleheader on Friday.
I asked why he was not playing yesterday because of the job he did offensively in the second game on Friday, and I was told that his defensive ability.
Runner goes. Lucroy comes out throwing, and the throw goes into center field. Sanchez hops up, and he's going to head to third. Well, Lucroy made a quick release. The throw was just toward the first base side of second base a little bit.
Well, in one of those cases there, it looked like Marcus tried to catch the short hop. Had he come up with it, it probably was going to be an out, but by short hopping, he did not, and as a result, the ball into center field. But you're right, Lucroy with a very quick release, great footwork, and you know, it's one of those that ball has to stay in the air probably for him to be out, trying to catch the short hop a little bit harder.
So error number 54 for the Athletics, and it's their 5th error in this series. So that's been a little bit of an issue.
See from Paul Blackburn, it was a breaking ball, which Lucroy tried to set himself up, backhand the ball, come up and throw in quickly, just happened to bounce it.
And that one is sliced down the left field line, but it's just foul. So 2-2 the count to Narvaez with Sanchez at third.
Now Jonathan with the backhand there set himself up nicely, but by having the ball bounce, and he said, "Dang it."
2-2 pitch got him swinging. So a big strikeout for Paul Blackburn and a runner stranded at third for the Sox.
Ways for families and students to enjoy A's baseball. Get 2 free kids tickets with every purchase of 1 adult ticket for Monday through Thursday home games from now through August. What a great deal. Also, the Summer Home Run Readers Program and Summer Slugger Program are ways for kids to win tickets. For more information, visit athletics.com/family.
Jose Canseco, Jim Catfish Hunter, 2 of the A's greats.
And you know, the guy on the right is a pretty good hitter, too.
Yeah.
I mean, you talk about Canseco's home runs and all that, but Catfish was a very good hitter.
Yeah, I said 2 of the all-time greats, and we don't want to shortchange Jose Canseco, but I'm not sure we should put him in the Catfish Hunter category.
Well,
Catfish was pretty special.
I was like listening to Catfish when he would talk about, unfortunately, the late Catfish Hunter, he'd talk about his perfect game. He said, "Hey, I got 3 hits and drove in the runs, man." He said, you know, yeah, oh, by the way, he pitched a perfect game, too.
2-0 to Barreto, leading things off here in the third. Barreto at 194, 3 homers, 9 RBIs. Barreto 3 for 12 in this series. First couple of home runs. Getting a chance to play, and we're starting all of the games in the series, so I don't know that Barreto's ever had a chance to do that at the big league level.
He really hasn't, and again, a lot of credit goes to Jed Lowry. We've mentioned that because it was Jed who told the skipper, "I'll play third," and of course that has enabled Barreto, who is the future second baseman of this ball club, to play consistently as second and get a chance to get comfortable. Made some nice defensive plays yesterday. Of course, the 2 3-run home runs first game on Friday. The skipper knows the importance of Barreto and any player playing every day, and Barreto getting that opportunity now, whether it's couple weeks we shall see.
Pops this one to shallow right. Garcia over. Let me see how Garcia has it, and that's the first out. All right, let's get some goodies on Ken Hawk Harrelson. It is indeed his 33rd and final season broadcasting White Sox games. He was the general manager in 1986. Played with the A's. And he was a roommate of our own, the great Ray Fosse.
Yep.
Stories that Ray has. Had a great year with the Red Sox in 1968. Could have had those great seasons with the Indians.
Well, and he did right after that. And, you know, one of the things that we must also realize that with the great late Curt Flood and what he did for free agency and Messersmith and McNally, but it was Hawk Harrelson who was actually released by Charlie Finley in '67 when he's with Kansas City Athletics, because he spoke out about Alvin Dark.
Oh.
He released him and he signed with the Red Sox.
All right, let's listen to famous Hawk Harrelson call. There's many.
High towering drive into left field. You can put it in the ball. Yeah! A three-run homer. Bo Jackson and the Sox lead it 3-0.
Mercy.
Bo Jackson. How about that?
Yeah.
That's worth getting excited about.
That's when he came back too. Maybe he had the hip was a
he did.
replacement
That's right.
surgery and came back, and Herm Schneider really worked hard, the trainer.
I think the many different ways to describe Hawk as a broadcaster. Passionate would certainly be one.
Oh yeah.
He wants the White Sox to win. A little more Hawk when we come back. It's a 3-up, 3-down inning for Carlos Rodon.
Way back. He looks up. You can put it on the board. Yes. Number 500 for Jim Thome. A game winner here in the bottom of the ninth inning as the Sox win it 9-7. You're awesome, big man.
That's beautiful. You are awesome, big man.
You are awesome, big man. First pitch swinging, Leori Garcia. He grounds to short. Man, that makes me laugh.
Yeah.
Because, listen, Hawk will first tell you, hey, I got favorites.
Oh yeah.
And he loved Jim Thome.
Yes,
he
he
loved
did.
Burley. He loved Konerko.
Paulie. Yeah, Paulie.
He loved Jim Thome.
Yeah.
Thome hits a game-winning home run, walk-off, for his 500th career home run. So that's certainly worth getting excited about. But
Yeah.
only Hawk could drop it. You are awesome, big man.
Well, and you know the thing about Hawk, Hawk also is, you know, it's going to be an emotional time for him, because here we are on June the 25th or 24th, and he's got 3 months left.
Yeah.
And, you know, as he told me today, he says, I won't work again for 20 days. And he said, trying to get the schedule situated. He's got grandkids, of course, wife Eris. And he said, you know, that's the hardest part, because there's a routine in baseball when you're working every day.
Absolutely.
But, you know, you're working only on home Sundays in the Cubs series, you know, that minimizes the number of games you're doing.
And plus, listen, I mean, for lack of a better term, it's a farewell tour.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, for him, yeah. I was fortunate to have him on this morning, and on my pregame show on the radio side, and you know, it's Hawk being Hawk.
And I think too,
I made him the hitter he was because I threw batting practice to him. Yeah, when he was traded to Cleveland, and he'd say, "Hey, come over and throw BP and high Corbett over the backfield," and I'd go over there and throw to him all the time. But yeah, he was a great hitter. He loved Fenway Park. That green monster was perfect for him. One thing I do get on him about, remember when Nehru suits came out, they were fabulous for about 2 weeks. He had every color. And then it went out of style, but he still had everyone. He said, "Don't mention that to me again." But he was the master dresser. He was king in Boston. And when there's a guy named Carl Yastrzemski, that's hard to do. But he took over the faithful in Boston just because of his ability to hit home runs over the green monster. Hit a whole bunch.
and a good breaking ball, and Engel strikes out. And here's the perfect game by Mark Burley. This was fun.
Alexei! Yes! 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 History!
Here's Moncada. And I think what our viewers back home need to make sure they know, and it's like, well, what's the big deal? He is immensely popular here with White Sox fans. As much as any broadcasters all over baseball.
And you know, Kai, that's a great point, because the one thing he said, and it's true, you know, our job in the broadcast booth, we want people to see baseball players, and while we're not going to make excuses for them, but you know, the whole idea is to promote these guys, to, you know, to build them up. Sure, you emphasize or you talk about mistakes, but you don't go back 3 or 4 innings later. But Hawk was a homer, and he loved it. He loved being a homer.
Well, we're homers right now, and we like Paul Blackburn. You know what, though? Hawk could get angry. We'll talk about that.
Can't get him. Oh, no! No!
He was safe at first.
No! No!
Well, Angel Hernandez blew the call, and the infield being back should have cost him the game. It didn't. Right there, he's safe.
He is
does
safe.
not have the ball.
And another blown call by Hernandez.
That was a missed call by Angel Hernandez if you didn't figure that. Oh, he could get angry if things didn't go his way. Not a fan of the umpires. Listen to this one. This is best.
Watch out. Oh, what are you doing? He threw him out of the ball game. You gotta be vaping me. What in the hell are you doing? What are you doing, Wagner? You gotta be kidding me. That is so bad. That is absolutely brutal.
That's incredible.
That is unbelievable. I'll tell you what. They have got to start making guys be accountable. That is totally absurd. That just tells you he has blue. Here's an umpire in the American League knows nothing about the game of baseball.
Tell us how you really feel, Hawk.
I told him today at lunch, I said, Hawk, I said, my favorite is the Mark Wegner.
Yeah.
He goes, yeah. And he got mad. Not at me, at Wegner.
Sure.
He hasn't forgiven Mark Wegner. Here we have an American League umpire.
Well, and you know, the one thing, the chairman, Jerry Reinsdorf, the owner of the White Sox, he's called him in a couple of times.
Sure.
You know, he says, you know, Hawk, I love you, man, but you can't do that. You know, you can't do that. Jerry Reinsdorf, the owner, is really very much appreciated by a lot of the White Sox people throughout, from top to bottom, bottom to top.
3-2 the count to Chris Davis. He's with a run in the second inning and a sacrifice fly by Mark Cannon. Fouled straight back. Shouldn't forget either, Ray, as you know, Hawk was a terrific player.
Yes, he was. And unfortunately, he went into second base, spring training, and had one of those in-between slides and broke his ankle, and it was never the same. You know, that's why they always say you either slide or just, you know, when in doubt, slide.
Chris Davis swings over top. Second strikeout for Rodon. Listen to this one.
15 and 16 they have retired. That ball hit deep. Way back. Maxwell at the wall, jumps. What is it? You can put it, no, safe. You can put it on the board or what? Anyway, he's coming around. You can put it on the board. Yes. Home run. There was no call late.
See, even Hawk butchers a call and it's still great.
But, you know, one of the favorites is somebody gets a base hit and cancel the press conference. Because every game's got to be a no-hitter or a perfect game. But when something happens, you can cancel press conference. He's good.
Olsen cannot hold up. Good slider from Rodon, and he does have a good slider. Olsen had a base hit in the second inning, and he scored the only run in the game so far.
And really, Rodon throws the slider a lot. Not quite what he throws his 2 and 4 seam fastball, but he will throw it.
Pitch number 47 coming up, and here it is, down and away.
You know, Hawk also was the first ever to wear a batting glove. He played golf. He was not supposed to play a baseball game. Ended up playing 36 holes of golf. Went on the pro tour, actually. And showed up, and they said, "Are you going to play?" And he Said, "Well, my hand's so sore, I'm going to just wear my golf glove." And it turned out to be something that he said mantle, and guys looked at him and says, "What are you doing?" Because nobody wore batting gloves back in the mid 60s, late 60s, and players every day. If you don't wear them, you're an exception to the rule.
Well, if there was no batting gloves nowadays, the game would be shortened up by about 20 minutes.
Pace of game.
Yeah,
so we're going to blame Hawk, huh?
Absolutely.
Heard someone say yesterday that their minor league hitting coach only used the bottom batting glove.
Huh.
Which I know when that first came up, it was the bottom hand, left hand. And they said, well, they give you a pair for a reason, but it was always the bottom hand. Kept the top hand free.
Sure.
And then, of course, it went to both batting gloves or both hands.
Three-two pitch bounced up the middle into center field, and Olsen has another hit. Remember the ice bucket challenge?
Yes, unfortunately, I do.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Ray Fosse, let's go.
The second challenge is going out to a former teammate of mine, an all-star catcher, now a great announcer for the Oakland Athletics, Ray Fosse.
Oh. And then he does his Hawk.
The ice bucket challenge.
Yeah. So many.
High pop-up down the right field line. Garcia with a very long run, and in foul territory, he makes a nice running catch. So Piscotty's retired, and so are the A's in the top of the fourth.
Pitch. A swing and a drive to deep right. Away back. Goal! Jason Giambi has done it for the second time off the White Sox. A walk-off game winner. A two-out, two-run blast to right. Mardi Gras in September in Cleveland.
All right, now just stay with us here. That was the great Tom Hamilton,
he's
long-time radio announcer. Now, what does that have to do with Hawk Harrelson? Well, that call, and Tom is a very excitable, terrific announcer, as you just heard. But that home run, which was a big home run, was against the White Sox. We have Hawk Harrelson's version of that same walk-off, and to say that it's slightly different would be an understatement.
I can't wait. I can't wait.
It's just good to hear Tom Hamilton's voice.
Exactly. We're going to hear him. Actually, you don't even need a microphone. You can just hear him when he makes the calls in Cleveland.
That's right.
But he's good.
So keep that in mind. That big home run off the White Sox.
Was Hawk anything like Mike Shannon? His walk-off call.
That's gone.
See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow. 0-1 to Mauricio Garcia. Paul Blackburn's been good so far. He's given up just one hit, 3 strikeouts.
And that one hit, the only blemish so far for Blackburn, was a nice diving effort by Marcus Simmons. Just could not get the ball transferred in his throwing hand, and might be a game that would be very notable right now.
That one's hit hard. Lowry picks it. Straightens up and throws out Garcia. All right, so listen to Hawks' version of that Giambi walk-off in Cleveland.
This ball game is over.
He doesn't say anything. Oh, man. That's it. He didn't say anything. Oh, man. Is that both ends of the spectrum as far as home announcers go?
What did he say? This game is over.
This game is over. Tom
it.
Hamilton finished it by saying it's Mardi Gras in September in Cleveland. All right,
That's great.
Thanks for hanging with us, folks. It makes us laugh pretty hard. I know that. We love our Hawk Harrelson, and we wish him the best of luck in his post-announcing career, because he's a young man. He's got a nice family he wants to spend more time with.
He's got 3 grandchildren. He was talking about the fact that he gets a chance to watch them play in their sports, something that, you know, we all in the travels that we have, we miss a lot of the time with our children, and he's going to get a chance to see his grandkids, who has 3 boys, and watch them play their sports. So we wish him the best. He's a good man.
0-2 to Daniel Polka.
Let's not forget also that last year, Jerry Reinsdorf, before last year, he said, are you thinking about cutting back? Because Vin Scully had cut back a little bit. And Hawk was driving 200 miles each day from Indiana to come to work here, 100 miles each way. And so he could be in Indiana to watch his grandkids play and be with his family.
That ball's hit down the left field line, and it's hooking and it's into the seats. Remember, Hawk was an athletic for a while, and that's him.
Hold on for dear life.
That's Charlie O.
That's it. That's the original Charlie O.
I didn't think anybody was allowed on top of Charlie O, and maybe nobody was.
No, Hawk just did it, though. Hawk was being Hawk. Maybe that's when it's Kansas City, why he's no longer in Kansas City.
That's why he got released.
Yeah.
Swing and a miss. He struck him out. Blackburn's been very good through 4, and the A's lead 1-0.
California is brought to you by SoFi, a modern finance company.
Beautiful day in Chicago. The A's with a 1-0 lead, top of the 5th inning. It'll be Canna, Lucroy, and Barreto against Carlos Rodon. He's been good. Allowed just 3 hits, a couple of strikeouts. Blackburn's been just a little better. That one's launched left field, and that baby's gone. So Mark Canna, another road home run for the Athletics, and it's a 2-0 A's lead. And I believe, Ray, we have a Major League Baseball record.
Major League record. Boy, that was a shot. It sounded loud. It was loud, and it is a Major League record. 25th consecutive game with at least 1 home run on the road. That's a new Major League record. And for the Athletics, Mark Canna, who homered against Rodon in 16, he does it again today, and it was a no-doubter. That once it left his bat, it was gone. So number 10 for Mark Canna, and also number 8 of his 10 have been hit against lefties.
Lucroy loops one down the right field line, and that's going to fall for a hit. So Jonathan Lucroy with the base hit. Let's see where the pitch was to Canna on the home run.
Well, he's around the strike zone is Rodon, and he throws him a pitch at 92, inner part of the plate. And Mark Canna, who's proven to be an outstanding player for the Athletics, playing a lot in center field. Listen, as soon as you could close your eyes and you knew it was going to be a home run, because it was off the bat so quickly. A shake of the head, bad location by Rodon. Great location for Mark Canna in the record books with that long ball.
The A's have now hit 17 home runs in their last 8 games. For the season, they have 104 home runs. That's 5th most in the American League. But really not that far behind the leader. New York Yankees have hit 122. Red Sox 108. So you see, the A's are close to the Red Sox, Angels, and Indians, a little bit behind the Yankees, but I would say they're with the big boys.
Well, you think about the Yankees, they just added a hitter, hit 9 last year? And the Arnett guy hit 52.
They hit a bunch last year.
And now they added a guy who, Giancarlo Stanton, who led the world in home runs, and now he's a member of the Yankees.
So you're saying they should probably be leading?
They were expected to set a new all-time record, and they should be leading right now. And they are.
Well, you're right. Last year, the Yankees hit 241 home runs. That was the most in the major leagues. And then you throw Stanton in there.
Well, StatCast for Mark Canna, the launch angle has to be very, very short. The exit velocity to 107, just 24 degrees, and 401 probably would have gotten to the seats in less than 2 seconds because it was a shot. Even the great Hawk Harrelson couldn't say put it on the board. He may not get put it on. Gone.
Gone. In a hurry. 1-2 to Barreto. It's hit hard down to third, off the glove of a diving Sanchez, rolls into foul territory. Lucroy's going to hustle to third, and Barreto's going to be at second. So a very hard hit ball, and it will be a double. So second and third, and nobody out.
Well, good to see Franklin Barreto take the pitch inside and pull it, because 2-strike pitch for him. He started 0-2, fouled off a pitch, and Jonathan Lucroy with the ball off the third baseman, stopped at second, then realized I can get to third. Franklin Barreto said the same thing going to second. So now the infield will come in the 5th inning, a little bit different than back in the 2nd inning when the A's had second and third and nobody out. But it'd be nice to pad the lead right now if they get a chance.
First pitch with the infield into Simeon is high.
Well, the one thing Paul Blackburn has done today maybe has created this offense for the Athletics, because as always, if you pitch well, then you've got a chance for your club to do something offensively, and the A's have done that, especially on the road. And because Blackburn's given up just 1 hit in the first 4 innings, allowed Rodon to have a little bit more pressure on him, especially trailing early.
Bounce to third, right to Sanchez, who looks to run it back and throws Simeon out, one out. And that'll bring up Pinder.
But these are the situations that the A's need to do something, because their gift runs just make solid contact, hit the ball in the outfield.
First pitch to Pinder is just a little bit high. Remember the game of the series in Houston between the Royals and the Astros. And the Astros just scored 8 runs in the second inning. So the Astros leading the Royals 8-0, top of the third. Pinder hits one very high down the left field line and foul. So a long strike, 1-1 to count.
Cut. The Astros saw Dozier. The Royals had an opposite field home run last night, 3-0 lead. The Royals came back, won it in extra innings with a walk-off. And not surprised to see them come out today very strongly. The Astros.
Inside the Pinder. Red Sox leading the Mariners 5-0 at Fenway. That game in the bottom of the 7th inning. And that's the rubber game of that series as well. Mariners will head to Baltimore after that game to start a 4-game series against the Orioles. Not get in on the hands of Pinder. So a long road trip for the Mariners. It has not gone very well for them on the road trip.
But you know, we've seen the Astros both in Houston and Coliseum, and for the Astros in their home park, I don't know if they ever feel they're down by too many runs. And they just kept battling back last night and back again today and trying to win the series.
2-2 pitch, got him swinging. Pinder pulled off that one.
Well, it went upstairs. Rodon did with a good fastball, and close enough at 92, maybe to be a strike, not to be a strike. And if you have that kind of velocity, it's a good pitch up in the zone. Turned out to be very good for him. So the A's try to do what they did yesterday. Jed Lowry with a big 2-out, 2-run double. It's going to take a hit now.
Lowry a fly ball to center and a fly ball to right. Fly ball will not do the A's any good now.
And these are situations that the skipper, just like on Friday, game 2.
Absolutely.
First and third, nobody out, man. It's frustrating.
And you don't need a home run.
No, you don't. Just really in the previous 2 at bats, all you need is contact, other than to an infield on the ground. Strikeout definitely doesn't help.
0-1 to Jed Lowry. 6 hits now for the Athletics, just 1 hit for the White Sox. Narvaez sets up inside and the pitch is high, 96 miles an hour.
That's about top end for him. And Rick Renteria, his manager, looks on, trying to hope to get out of this jam. But Rodon with a 2-seam fastball, obviously not as hard thrown as the 96 4-seamer.
Popped him up. Moncada, the second baseman on the outfield grass, makes the catch. So the A's get 1 and probably wish they would have got more. 2-0 Athletics. California explores fair play, the state of youth sports in America. Now, before they were big leaguers, players like this young man, simply kids being kids, playing all sorts of sports. Who is this young man?
No
we'll
clue.
reveal his identity later in the inning.
Green and gold colored picture, so that's more current.
Okay.
You
That
know,
helps a little bit.
It's not fair for to have a visiting like Don Cooper in a black and white photo.
There's a shot up the middle into center field and a base hit for Anderson, his 6th hit in this series. So that's a leadoff hit. All right, let's see who it was. A's uniform. It is Matt Olson. So Matt Olson, early on in his baseball career, was an athletic. Well, make sure you watch Fair Play, the youth sports in America. It's brought to you by Geico. It's coming up on the 29th of June, right after A's postgame live. Great stuff. So a very interesting, probably enlightening show.
Yeah.
Sanchez is the hitter. Throw to first, and Anderson is back.
Other hit that Blackburn gave up was a 2-out base hit by Sanchez. Stole second, ended up at third. He got a strikeout, but this is a leadoff hit by Anderson. Blackburn out of the stretch for just the 2nd time today. It had to be thinking, I got at least a couple more runs on the board. Instead, just the home run, top of the inning, the only run the A's scored.
Anderson with a big lead, and he was going, and they almost got it. Anderson's got 15 stolen bases. He's a good base stealer, and he had a big lead, and he had a lean going.
But Lucroy throws well, which means that White Sox, who, as you pointed out earlier in this series, run a lot, especially Anderson. Let's feel they can get a pretty good jump off the pitcher.
Sanchez had a base hit in the 2nd inning. Timeout called. Long hold by Blackburn. So the White Sox, the most stolen bases in the American League, 59. They stole 3 yesterday. Of course, 2 of them were on a double steal.
And let's not forget, at one time they were called the Go-Go Sox.
That's right. Took them to the World Series.
That's right.
Is that 59? There he goes. Lucroy's throw is a good one, and they got him. What a throw by Jonathan Lucroy. Throws out a very good base stealer.
And that is huge because it does, and they're going to take a look at it. Anderson standing at second base, but Lucroy, I mean, you talk about putting a throw on the bag. I guess they're waiting.
So the second base umpire is DJ Rayburn.
You know,
Sam Holbrook is the home plate umpire, and they are going to look at it.
Well, he stayed at second, did Anderson, but gives us a chance to talk about what happened yesterday when the first batter, Moncado, is Lucroy out from behind the plate. Let's see, what does he get his hand in? That's what the fans were cheering about as they saw it on their Giant vision. Semien tried to put his knee down and knock the hand off the bag by Anderson. Yeah, unfortunately, he may look like he's safe there, but you know, yesterday the one thing when Moncado was awarded first base after Ryan Blackney had called it a foul ball. And remember when the manager came out with a trainer and they looked at Moncado, and that's when Rick Renteria said, you know, let's look at it, and then he was awarded first base. And granted, he probably was, but I asked the manager about it, and he said to Sam Holbrook, said, hey, we took too much time, which meant that you only get 30 seconds to decide whether you're going to challenge or not. Holbrook started to walk towards third base this time. Watch the left hand of Anderson as he goes in, and you know, from New York, maybe they can't tell if the knee knocked his hand off. The other angle looked like it should. This shows his hand. Semien tried to put his foot down, his knee down. Is there enough to overturn it? We shall see. Okay, but yeah.
I don't know. And
yep,
it was not enough.
And you can't argue.
I did not necessarily see something that stood out that would have overturned that. So out, and that call stands. So that's a big out.
It's huge out, and Anderson threw up his hands, his arms. But the one thing about a challenge, you argue, manager for sure goes out, he's ejected, and Anderson was a little bit upset, thought he got his hand in. See, that's where if the middle infielder, in this case Semien, if you know if the guy's going to slide hit first like that, you can put your whole body down and block him off. And let's not forget that Jonathan Lucroy came out just as he did when Sanchez stole. Came out very, very quickly. Great footwork, great arm strength and release, and put it on the bag.
Up the middle. Marcus Semien right there. His throw is low, and Olsen picked it. What a pick by Matt Olsen. So that is out number 2. Marcus Semien at times, Ray, can throw a pretty good sinker over to first.
Yeah, well, he did, but had enough time to get a good grip, but then did throw the sinker. But watch the pick by Matt Olsen. You know, we saw the highlight of Jason Giambi hitting a home run. Jason was one of the best at scooping low throws and taking errors away.
Oh. Most scoops. So Matt Olsen with the most scoops in the major leagues. Now, it's an interesting note if you really think about it, because it shows that the first baseman is very good. It also shows that the throws are in the dirt.
But it also shows that somebody has to count those.
That's true. Most scoops.
Your job is to watch the first baseman and see if he's able to scoop the ball.
Sure.
Little Neapolitan, a little chocolate or vanilla.
See, Matt Olsen should show that to his infield and say, check it out, guys.
Yes.
Buy me dinner.
Well, here's StatCast on a catcher's throw. Jonathan Lucroy. 3-point. Wow. That's fast. But you know what? All that with the catcher depends on the pitcher. If the pitcher doesn't give you help, then Blackburn did.
That one hooked down the right field line. It's going to drop fair by Omar Narvaez. So he has a 2-out hit.
And that's how big the stolen base throw out was, or at least attempt. And Lucroy throwing him out at second base because this would have scored him. Slower breaking ball with a couple of strikes. Did not throw it hard enough to get the strikeout, which he got Navar's first at bat with a good breaking ball thrown hard. This one a little bit slower. They made a nice adjustment.
Here's Leori Garcia. Garcia grounded out to the shortstop in the 3rd inning. So for Blackburn, he is now at 55 pitches, so his pitch count is very good. Swing and a miss.
Well, I remember his first game against the Royals, his pitch count was way down. But Danny Duffy was a little bit better, or at least against the offense.
Swing and a miss again. Off speed, 84 miles an hour. So 1-2 the count to Leori Garcia, the left fielder.
Much harder breaking ball. That's the key. Spun him in the ground a little bit. Especially have a hitter that opens up with the uppercut swing on a low, hard breaking ball. It's tough to make contact.
This one's fouled off Garcia's foot, so he's doing a lot of hobbling around. And Sam Holbrook, a veteran umpire, does what a good umpire does. He brushes off home plate, even though it did not need to be brushed off, just to give the hitter a little extra time.
You know,
the facing of the A's dugout.
Oh, Comiskey camp, they had the air pressure right in the middle. And the umpires will wait. I mean, they would play a joke on catchers. They'd wait to see if you're bending over.
Sure.
And then they'd hit the little button behind them, which scare you to death, man. But that eliminated the umpires having to brush off home plate. It was just that air compression come out, pop up, and then just clean the plate, go back down.
Not a bad idea. Not Harvey the Rabbit.
No, it's not Harvey. No, but it was good. You know, just a little bit different. Great Bill Vac.
Wasn't Comiskey Park, wasn't the field always a little muddy?
Oh,
a little damp.
Swamp. It was a swamp. Seriously, it was. In the outfield, if it rained, it was like this dip all the way in the outfield. The water just settled. No drainage. It was horrible.
There's a line drive and another base hit to right field. This good. It's going to allow Narvaez to go around to third. So first and third, 3 hits in the inning now. So again, the caught stealing is huge.
But unfortunately, both of these hits have come with 2 strikes and another slower type breaking pitch and not getting it down. And I don't know if at times pitchers try to throw it hard, but it doesn't come out of the hand properly enough to be able to throw it as hard as they were expecting to throw it. But you're right about the great throw by Jonathan Lucroy to get the caught stealing on Anderson, and it was not overturned. It was upheld, which adds to that total of being called correctly.
So here's Adam Engel, the 9th place hitter. He struck out in the 3rd. Engel is 3 for 11 in the series. Swing and a miss. Engel, as we've seen, a pretty good defensive center fielder, runs well. But the batting average just a little over 200. Hey, you never know with the White Sox, Ray.
That's right.
Garcia may go.
Well, in this case, it would be a throw through. First and third, there are times the catcher gives a sign and tells the infielders what they're going to do, but that is the potential tying run to first, and you try to throw him out. If it's a double steal, then the second baseman in this case is going to be covering. Hit it.
And it did hit him.
And a good time for Scott Emerson to pay a visit to his pitcher, and you can hear the tick tick, and just enough it got him just below the left arm. So Kite, as we always like to talk about your unfortunate comments about lower third of the batting order, they have all 3 gotten on, and now it's back to Moncada, who has the only grand slam for the White Sox, and that came hitting from the left side. That was against Andrew Triggs at the Coliseum. And he's trying to avoid that as he has struck out and flied out to center field. But always a threat.
So here's Moncada. Moncada has struck out, and he has hit a fly ball to center field. He is 2 for 15 in the series. First pitch to Moncada. Driven to right. Piscotti over. Can't get it off the base of the wall. 1 run scores. 2 runs score. 3 runs are going to score, and the White Sox have taken the lead.
.45 pitches for Paul Blackburn, 4 innings, and this inning he can't get it out. Another breaking ball, this time hung up And fortunately stayed in the park, but with 2 outs and Engel at first base with the tremendous speed ever able to score. But all of this happening, and really been 4 hits in the inning with 2 outs. And thankfully one of them was thrown out. But Moncada, similar pitch that talked to Trevino, he tried to get him to do it yesterday, trying to get the hard ground ball to get a double play, but he threw it in such a way that Moncada could hit the slow hit ground ball.
And here's Garcia, who loops a foul.
Tied the game, and then eventually the A's did win. But boy, this is all coming with 2 outs, and it's got to be very frustrating for Paul Blackburn. And even more frustrating, Cobb, at the top of the batting order, second and third, nobody out, the A's don't score.
That's right.
That's
double whammy this
yeah, that's where it really hurts.
And the hit batter on the 9th place hitter.
Yeah.
Swing and a miss by Avicio Garcia, who's 0 for 2. Here's the runners. And again, the back runner, Engel, who is the runner at first, has very good speed. So 0-2 to Garcia. He is 2 for 11 in the series. So just back from the disabled list and a little bit of a slow start, but not easy. He's on the disabled list since the middle of April. And there's a line drive, base hit left field. Here comes Moncada. Here comes Pinder's throw to the plate. It airmails everybody. Garcia goes to second, and now it's 4-2 White Sox. Boy, this happened quickly.
You know, the sad part about this inning, Navarro starts it with 2 outs with 2 strikes. Same with Garcia, and this is a 2-strike pitch. So 3 of the hits have come where he's not been able to put them away. And I mean, Moncada runs too well, and you can't afford to allow another runner to get in scoring position. You almost have to concede this one, at least throw it low enough so the hitter, Garcia, could not get into scoring position himself.
And just now, there's action brewing out in the A's bullpen. As Jose Abreu steps up. And that first pitch is high. I don't know, it just looks, I mean, pitch count wise, you wouldn't think so, Ray, but it just looks like Blackburn's tired. Well, curveball not quite as sharp.
Yeah, it's just not thrown as hard as maybe he was trying to. Remember the game he pitched against the Royals, and granted that was a kind of emergency start. He said my legs kind of gave out. Well, that's what happens. It's a full body effort. There's Liam Hendricks popping the catcher's mitt. You go from a chance of having a 4-0 lead to now trailing 4-2 in the span of 1 inning.
There's a strike. 1-1 the count to Jose Abreu, who has lined out, and he has grounded to short. 1 for 15 in this series. So look at the pitches by inning. He was rolling along, was Blackburn, but 25 in this inning alone. So his first high stress inning, and it's cost him 4 runs. And that one's hit down the left field line. That's going to get down for a hit. Garcia comes in to score. Jose Abreu trying for second, and he is going to be out. So the White Sox may want to take a look at it. Either way, it's another run for the White Sox, and it's now a 5-run inning, and it's a 5-2 lead for Chicago.
I don't think it must have come off the bag.
And they are not going to check it. So 6th inning coming up. It's now the White Sox 5 and the A's 2.
military by sharing a photo or video with hashtag #HatsOffForHeroes. For each post, T-Mobile will donate $1 to support veterans.
Well, the A's now trailing 5-2. Well, the White Sox didn't do anything for the first 4 innings, but they scored 5 runs and had 6 hits in the 5th inning. So Chris Davis to lead it off, taken all the way. It's a strike from Carlos Rodon, who now has a lead. See how he handles that. A couple of strikeouts for Chris Davis, 3 strikeouts total for Rodon. This one's popped up. Garcia in right, over toward the line, and he makes the catch.
The A's 50th anniversary season-long celebration continues Saturday, June the 30th at 1:05 p.m. It'll be against the Cleveland Indians. 15,000 fans will receive a Dave Stewart starting lineup action figurine presented by Ashby Lumber and Humboldt Redwood Company, complete with Stu's trademark stare. Be sure to get your tickets for this special day honoring Stu at athletics.com/tickets. That's athletics.com/tickets.
So the upcoming homestand, which will start on Friday night, the 29th. Indians in for the weekend, and then on July 3rd and 4th, the Padres. So it's a fairly quick homestand, 5 games. And Olsen just got a piece of it, but I think he liked the pitch he saw. Engel goes back, center fielder. He was shaded into right center, and he's got it. So 2 outs. Twins are leading the Rangers 1-0. Middle of the 6th. The Rangers have been hot, Ray. They've won 7 in a row. And how about the last couple days? They've made it known, they being the Rangers, that Adrian Beltre is available.
How about that?
What do you think?
Well,
think they'll trade him?
Evidently, there have been clubs asking about him, and I think that's what prompted the Rangers to say yes, he is available. I think the Rangers in position they're going to make anybody.
Sure,
available.
absolutely. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
There is some young talent on the Rangers to build around, and if you were a veteran team, or not necessarily a veteran team, if you were a team in contention and you needed a third baseman, boy, Beltre would be a great guy to get. He's never won a World Series. Well, the Rangers have won 7 in a row. They're still 10 games under 500. Blue Jays and the Angels will get started in about a half an hour. That's the final game of that 4-game series at the Big Hay. The Angels have won 2 out of 3. Garcia waits, and Carlos Rodon with a very good and quick 6th inning. Bottom of the 6th coming up. X1 customers say, show me the Oakland A's in your X1 voice remote to get live stats in your TV. Change the way you experience TV with Xfinity X1. Looks like a Paul Konerko sighting right there. Paulie. Terrific player here for the White Sox. For a long time was heart of the order for the team that won the World Series.
Originally a catcher. Originally with the Dodgers.
And that one is drilled. Right field gone. Palka on the first pitch. Hits it out. And that makes it 6-2 White Sox.
You know, he's just missed few in this series. And that one, a line drive, just kind of shows with his ability. And Bob Melvin said, that's it. One batter. Give you a chance, and Balka with a line drive, and boy, you talk about somebody just losing it after 4 innings of 45 pitches, 1 infield hit, and then all this has happened in a matter of 9 batters, and Paul Blackburn done for the day.
So when it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your trusted oil change tune-up and smog experts.
California is brought to you by Max Muscle Nutrition and its 30 NorCal locations. Professional health and nutrition advice available for all ages.
So all of a sudden the A's trail 6-2. Paul Blackburn, and boy, Ray, the wheels fell off quickly.
Too quickly, yeah. Unfortunately, because it happened so fast. 73 pitches, and 45 of those are the first 4 innings. He didn't walk a batter, but a lot of 2-strike hits and 6 earnings.
So here's Liam Hendricks. Bottom of the 6th inning, he'll face Tim Anderson. So Hendricks just trying to kind of slow things down a little bit. First pitch is a strike to Anderson, who has grounded out and singled.
And the A's will try to draw on the fact that they were down 5-0, but that was in the first inning yesterday. They just had 3 opportunities remaining in this game.
A little bit low. It's a final from Fenway. The Red Sox shut out the Seattle Mariners 5-0. And Chris Sale. Not a complete game for Sale, Ray, but he went 7 innings, 4 hits, no runs, 13 strikeouts. So it looks like the Mariners caught Chris Sale on a good day. And if you catch him on a good day, you're probably in trouble. He was good with the White Sox. He's really good with the Red Sox. So Chris Sale, 7-4 with a 2.56 ERA. The Mariners struggling. Anderson cannot hold up. He goes around. Hendricks strikes out the first hitter he faces.
Well, the elevated fastball, kind of a half swing by Anderson, went around too far.
So 1 away, and here's Yolmer Sanchez. So the Mariners have now lost 6 out of their last 7. And they will go to Baltimore for 4. So a little tough stretch for Seattle. Astros winning big. So Seattle with the loss. Astros playing still. It's now a 4-game lead for the Astros. One thing we've learned over the years, Ray, is that as far as standings go, probably 95% of the time you either gain ground or lose ground quickly.
That's a good point.
Right?
That's a great point. Yeah. And especially obviously the regular season when it counts the most, but that's when it can happen because I mean you can go into a stretch where you can't buy a hit, you can't have a pitcher pitch, and then all of a sudden you turn it around. But that only happens in regular season, and postseason you're done.
I mean, look at this, Ray. Just use Houston and Seattle as an example. Last 10 games, the Astros are 8-2. Last 10 games, the Mariners 4-6. Well, that's a 4-game swing right there.
That's right.
And it's a 4-game swing in the span of probably a week and a half. Another drive to right. And that one's gone. That is Yolmer Sanchez. It's 7-2 White Sox.
And again, another 2-strike hit. Well, I hate to say it, maybe this is all in honor of Hawk Harrelson next door because this home run barrage, and now, of course, the run scoring in this game. But an elevated pitch this time, though, not as hard as it was to Anderson. Sanchez got under it, and it's gone.
So a couple of home runs in the inning for the White Sox. They have hit 4 home runs now in this series. They're not a big home run hitting team, but nowadays it seems like everybody's doing damage with the long ball. One and one the count to Narvaez.
I tell you, you go back to last inning, and when Jonathan Lucroy threw out Anderson at second base, you said, "Wow, this is going to be good."
Yep.
And then all of a sudden, the next out, Sanchez with the ground ball, and here we are with Narvaez hitting, who started the barrage last inning with 2 strikes, and the White Sox have scored 7.
So 1-2 to Narvaez. Just a little bit low and maybe a little bit inside, but not very much.
And I think Jonathan Lucroy is talking to Sam Holbrook right now about.
That's a strike.
Yeah, it's a strike, and Liam thought it was.
Pitcher makes a great pitch like that, you got to give it to him.
Yeah, what a shot.
That one is into right field, and that's a base hit. Narvaez got jammed a little bit, but he drops it. There's 10 hits now for the White Sox. 9 in the last 2 innings.
But another 2-strike hit also, and you don't get the call, and it's not surprising that the next pitch is going to be a base hit.
So Barreto was playing out in shallow right field, just could not get it. Here's Leori Garcia, who singled and scored in the 5th inning. Way inside to Garcia. Astros still leading the Royals big. It's 9-1 in the top of the 5th inning. Some movement on that one. The A's will head to Detroit after the ball game. And we'll see a struggling Tigers team who are trying not to get swept in Cleveland today. Not happening. Indians 12, Tigers 2 in the bottom of the 8th. That has been an ugly, ugly series for Detroit. So they're on their way to their 5th consecutive loss.
So the A's came in here with the White Sox having lost 7 in a row. They lost the first game of the doubleheader, won the nightcap, and the A's don't make a comeback today. The A's and White Sox going to split this 4-game series. And the unfortunate thing for the A's, if that does happen, they're going to realize when they leave they could have won all 4. Still some time left in this game.
Foul. Yeah, that lineup, Ray, the Tigers lineup that you're going to write into your book tomorrow afternoon, how much different does that lineup look than the one you wrote in last year?
That's right.
I was thinking about that today. Tigers last year, you had Upton, you had J.D. Martinez, you had Cabrera, you had Castellanos, you had Kinsler.
Victor Martinez.
None of them, except Victor.
Victor is there, yeah, but you're right, those 5. But I mean, it was a lineup with that great lineup combined.
So Garcia strikes out. So it's 2 outs here in the bottom of the 6th inning.
But Victor be gone if they had to witches.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, you're right.
There's your little hard slider. Really, that same spot that it's called on the actually called a ball in Navarez, which is a fastball. He ends up getting a base hit.
So 9th place hitter Adam Engel comes up. He is 0 for 1, hit by a pitch in the 5th. That was a big at bat. That seemed like a big deal, but
that's right.
There was 2 outs, 2 runners on, and Engel, who's the 9th place hitter, hit by a pitch, and that loaded up the bases. And then the leadoff man Moncada cleared him with a double.
Yeah, you get him out, you still have the 2-0 lead. Huh? But that did not happen, and that's where we are right now.
Runs in, and the count 1-1. Bounce, just foul. So 1-2 to Engel. Ace play Engel straight away. We've seen Engel hit some balls to the right side in this series. Fastball at 93 miles an hour. Engel is able to hold up his swing. Jim Wolf down at first base. Check with Jim.
Oh, this is a hard slider in the dirt. Nice block, but no swing definitely on that one. As Engel can wait as long as he wants. As his batting average just a little bit over 200, and that's why the hit batter last inning is crucial.
3-2, 2 outs, runner goes. The ball's popped up foul. So Hendricks about to throw his 25th pitch here in the 6th inning. Maybe a play. No, he's going to head into the seats for Lucroy. A couple rows back behind the White Sox dugout. The crowd this afternoon is 21,908. So not a bad crowd. Good bleacher crowd. They have nice bleachers here in this ballpark. Lots of sunshine out there. So another 3-2 to Adam Engel. And here it is. Another foul ball. Lead pitch at bat so far. Runner at first is Narvaez, who's getting his wind sprints in. Check swing, foul straight back.
He's not even running. He's just saying, we're just going to stop.
Yeah, he's a catcher.
Yeah.
He's got to save his legs for the final 3 innings. So he's not making anybody forget about. Well, let's see, who was a speedy White Sox player? Think of somebody, I guess.
Aparicio is pretty good.
We appreciate it. There you go. Chet Lemon.
Yeah. Chet the Jet.
Chet the Jet. That's hit hard. Lowry has it kick up off his glove into the glove of Simeon, and Engel's going to be aboard. See what the ruling is on that. It was hit fairly hard.
Rosie, repeat. Single.
Repeat.
Single. Rosie.
So Rosie says base hit. So it's a hit, Ray.
It's a hit. Repeat.
Did you think it was a hit?
I thought it was a hit.
I did too.
Yeah. I mean, there's no way.
So we agree with Rosie,
Yeah.
who's the longtime official scorer here at this ballpark and over at Wrigley Field, I believe.
That's a 6th hit. The last 2 innings come with 2 strikes. 6th hit.
Is there a Sox player who doesn't have a hit in this lineup?
Probably not today.
There's not. Every Sox player has at least 1 hit. Oh, I got a better one for you. Every Sox player has a hit in the last 2 innings.
That's a great point. That's exactly right.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, because they only had 1 in the first 4, and that was an infield. I mean, we're looking at
11.
maybe a shutout and a 1 or 2 hitter by a pitcher, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, come the White Sox.
Moncada with the big hit in this game. A 3-run double that gave the White Sox a 3-2 lead. Pitch number 31 coming up. And it's outside.
Now this was the big blow. Pitch that was really up and in, a breaking ball, kind of a flat slider, and down in the corner. No grand slam, but a bases clearing double. The Engel, the great speed, all the way from first base. Those were 2 outs on the move. No chance for Piscotty to get to it quickly.
Missed again inside. Now it's 3-1. So Hendricks getting a little frustrated on the mound. Driven to right. And that's going to be a 3-run homer for Yohan Moncada. Wow.
Well, the 3-1 pitch, and there is a no-doubter right down the middle at 95. Really, that's what Piscotty hit on Tuesday in San Diego. A similar pitch, similar location, and unfortunately, a similar result for the A's with this. Only 3-run shot. has 3 home runs in this inning.
And that's 6 RBIs for Moncada. So 10-2 White Sox. Barreto looking up into the bright sunshine, and he grabs it, and that will do it. So 3 home runs, 5 runs total, 10-2 White Sox.
Well, the A's go in the record book. That's a consolation because that's the only thing perhaps good about this game. Marquetta, who had already hit a home run against Rodon, 16, hits another one today, a line drive. 10 home runs for Marquetta, 25th consecutive road game. But the A's have hit at least 1 home run, so that is a new record. But unfortunately, and I was thinking that while Bob Melvin was probably thinking, I don't care about a record. I just want to win a ball game. Well, he's got a long way to come to try to win this one.
Canna goes after the first pitch of a fly ball to Engel. A strange game. Felt so. I mean, you were feeling pretty good here, right?
Well, I'm sure the skipper is, as he did on Friday night, split a doubleheader. But you start thinking about a game when you had first and third there, nobody out. Today, second and third, and you don't score a run. And the White Sox scored 5 2-out runs right after you don't score. And that's got to be something that is upsetting to the manager.
Here's Luke Croy. First pitch is a strike. Well, we're in Chicago. And you and I, we glance at the National League occasionally, but we don't spend a whole lot of time on it. But since we're in Chicago, and we've been reading about the demise of the Chicago Cubs, who coming in today were 42-31. But they did have somewhat of a disaster in Cincinnati. They just got swept in a 4-game series by the Reds for the first time since 1983. Ray, they were outscored 31-12 in Cincinnati. And today the Cubs had a 6-1 lead going to the bottom of the 7th inning. Pretty good, right? The Reds scored 7 runs in the 7th and won the game 8-6.
And how about last night, a pitcher for the first time hits a grand slam for the Reds, Bob Perky. 1959 was the last pitcher to hit a grand slam for the Reds.
So Jeff, did you say the Cubs go to LA to play the Dodgers? So 4-game series against the Dodgers in LA, that's not an easy task. The Cubs still very good. So Lucroy slaps a single to right field. Jonathan Lucroy is 2 for 3.
Well, if the Cubs were in the National League division, Eastern Division, where would they be?
Well, if the Cubs were in the any other division.
Oh, Brody, we love you, baby.
So he's a Cubs fan who just checked his MLB.com app, the at-bat app, and saw that his Cubs lost.
He's a brave gentleman to come to the South Side with a Cubs jersey on, though. I mean, that's really doing something.
Yeah, it is divided territory, man. but a great sports town.
Sure.
One of the great sports towns, if not the best sports town.
Well, Hawk was adamant about
terrific.
never ever wanting to go to Wrigley Field again. And of course, that's a South Sider, and you know there's a great rivalry between the White Sox and the Cubs. They have their, like the A's and Giants will play. But Hawk said, "I'll never go there again. I just don't like that." But you know what it's like there, and we've only been there once. And you know, all my years, yeah, they made it nice. I know Jeff. Yeah, sure. Except for the visiting clubhouse and the press box.
That is just foul. Well, Wrigley Field is great, right? I mean, it's terrific. But if you're a visiting team going in there, it's not an easy place to play. They're a really, really good team. Fans are right on top of you.
Sure.
There's a handful of people who like to get started at the Cubby Bear before the game. There's a few people that get oiled up a little bit before the game.
Where is that?
It's very close.
Joe, where's the Cubby Bear?
It's a pitching change away. Well, there's a rumor, and we don't know that it's true or not because we just don't know, but there's a rumor that the A's may be going to Wrigley next year. I don't know if that's sure or not, but we'll see. Wouldn't that be great?
That was a great visit to, it's been a while, actually just one time, what, twice to Miller Park.
Yeah. Yeah, it has been a while since we've been to Wrigley Field. One and two to Franklin Barreto. He doubled in the fifth. Nice big hop for Anderson out at second and on to first, and that is a nicely turned double play by Anderson, Moncada, and Abreu. Seventh inning stretch time from Chicago, all White Sox.
California is brought to you by Toyota. Designed for the grind that comes through every time. See your local Toyota dealer today. Toyota. Let's go places. By Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. By Xfinity. X1 will change the way you experience TV. And by SoFi, a modern finance company.
The score of this game, I don't want to talk about that. It's 10-2. The A's actually had a 2-0 lead, but 10 unanswered runs by the White Sox lead 10-2. Time now, the smart play of the day brought to you by your California Ford dealers. How about Paul Blackburn? He was good. One hit, an infield hit. First for it, a sharp breaking ball, had strikeouts. It looked great for the Athletics. But then all of a sudden, the 2-out, 2-strike hit started to occur. That loaded the bases, hitting Engel. Bases clearing double by Moncada. But Falco with a home run that was 1 of 3 hit in the 6th inning alone. But that was the problem for the Athletics and Paul Blackburn. He was good. But unfortunately, he got bad very quickly. In a matter of 9 batters, he scored 6 runs. And unfortunately, even more so is the fact that a lot of them came with 2 strikes. Could not get the put-away pitch.
So when it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your trusted oil change tune-up and smog experts. So Josh Lucas comes in for his 7th appearance. Liam Hendricks goes an inning, gets knocked around a little bit, gives up 4 hits and 4 runs. So here's Lucas, who pitched in game 1 of the doubleheader on Friday. And he'll face Abreu, Polka, and Anderson. So Josh Fegley is going to take over behind the plate, give Lucroy the rest of the day off. So Abreu steps up.
Well, as been mentioned, because there's so few position players, extra players, you can't, in a game like this, you can't really give guys time off just because you don't have that many, because of the number of pitchers.
First pitch to Abreu, in for a strike. Jose Abreu 1 for 3. He had an RBI hit in the 5th inning. He's been relatively quiet in the series, just 2 hits in the series. 2 for 16. So quickly 0-2. And that one is belted down the left field line, but it's going to be just foul.
Hanger. Repeat, hanger.
That was a hanger.
Jeez. Fortunately, it hung so much, Abreu was way out in front of it.
So we've been having fun, though, with some White Sox history today. Of course, next door was Comiskey Park, the very old ballpark, but a cool ballpark. Ray, you played there a lot.
Yeah. It was a swamp.
It was a little funky, but it was quite a place, and it was literally right next door to this ballpark. They were building this one when we're finishing up at Comiskey Park.
Xavier Cedeno, the star of the second game, 8th inning, Friday night.
So 0-2 the count, but as any old ballpark, it has its moments. And
what was the biggest moment?
Well, there's a lot of different ways to look at it, but in 1979, a local DJ here in Chicago did not really care for disco music. All right, he's not a Bee Gees fan, but so he put it together. He wanted a disco demolition night. You could throw, you could burn disco records in between the games of the doubleheader. So game 1, all right, White Sox, game's over, and then this is what happened in the middle of the doubleheader with. And to say that things got out of control,
I'd say so,
would be an understatement. It was July 12th, 1979, disco demolition night at Comiskey Park, and it was a good idea in theory, poorly executed.
It looked like 1959 when they won the World Series. All the people on the field.
It was Steve Dahl, a local DJ who I don't know if he's still on the air, but I believe he is. Very popular. He may be more popular now because of that, but.
Well, you mentioned him all these years later.
Well, we found out how many people did not like disco. But it's funny, if you read about that night, Ray, what happened was, okay, it's a doubleheader, right? And they got this thing going on in between games, right? Is it a big deal? I don't. White Sox never thought it was going to be a huge deal, but about the 6th inning of game 1, all of a sudden, lines started forming outside, and then it was like, something weird's about to happen. So probably a little bit scary. Was it as scary as 10-cent beer night in Cleveland?
I was just thinking about that. No, I don't think so. But you know, also at that park in 1972, was a date that probably that Gaylord Perry will always remember, because Ken Astromonti called us into his office and said, they have just decided that you could have pitchers checked about the foul pole. Nothing was.
What does that have to do with disco?
I know. Climbing a foul pole, that's a great point. Maybe you want to get a better view of all the people in the stands.
So what did Ken Astromonti tell you?
He said that the president of the American League said that not just because of you, Gaylord, but if when a manager feels that a pitcher is throwing a baseball with a foreign substance, he can go out and have you checked. And sure enough, that started in 1972 with Gaylord. And Chuck Tanner was the manager of the White Sox in that series, and he did it with one strong man in baseball named Dick Allen.
Really?
Came to the plate.
Richie called me Dick Allen.
Yeah, that's right. And unfortunately, there was not enough on it, and the ball ended up in the second deck. I kept looking over and said, Chuck, when are you going to come out? When are you going to come out? And he finally came out. And strongest man in baseball, Dick Allen. Should be in the Hall of Fame. And you see those sleeves. He had probably the biggest guns in baseball. He never wore a uniform without the long sleeves on. He never showed off the pipes. It's not like Michael Zagara, sun that gun out.
Yeah, put him away, Michael.
But
Dick Allen was a little controversial, though.
Yes,
right?
he was in Philadelphia. Yeah, Philadelphia. But he was a powerful hitter. He used a 42-ounce bat. Just dropped the head.
Good pitch by Lucas and a good inning by Josh Lucas. 3 up, 3 down. We're moving to the 8th. Chicago sports history right now. The park is gone. Don't miss the movie event of the summer. Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom in theaters now.
Hey, Joe, I had a couple of those hot dogs for the game. It's Lombardi.
Where's that tailgate going on?
Wow, tailgate. Maybe that's where Hawk went.
So Marcus Semien to lead it off, and Carlos Rodon is still out there. He's had 90 pitches. Done a nice job. He's with 7 hits. But he got the lead in the bottom of the 5th. And he's been good since. Carlos Rodon looking for his first win here in 2018.
Well, you're down 2-0, almost 4-0, and all of a sudden you're up 10-2. Things are looking much brighter for the young man. Throws a lot of strikes, has been.
Marcus Semien today. A couple of fly balls to center field and a ground out to third. That's a little bit high. So 3-1 the count. Marcus fouls it back. Hey, look who's starting for the A's tomorrow. Edwin Jackson. How about that? He'll be facing veteran Jordan Zimmerman. We will not be televising the game. You can listen to it on 95.7 The Game or check it out on the MLB Network. Sanchez, the third baseman, waiting for it to come down, and it does right in front of his own dugout, and he makes the catch.
Looked like for a moment he didn't know where the ball was, but high sky did find it.
So one out here in the top of the eighth. So Edwin Jackson.
Yeah.
He signed him, what, maybe a month ago or so?
Well, he started spring training with the Nationals and decided that was going to work out was the A's, and this will be his 13th major league team that he will be pitching for, going against one of his former teams, the Tigers, tomorrow afternoon.
White Sox, one of his former teams.
Yeah.
So if Edwin Jackson is on the roster tomorrow, and Buchter will be on the roster tomorrow, so the A's will have to let a couple people off the roster. So we'll see what they do with that. Pinder hits one high in the air, left center field, but it's really hanging up. And Engel gets back there and he makes the catch.
Well, there's one guy who knows, and we mentioned him yesterday, getting Nick Martini up here in time to be able to get the game-winning hit, his first major league hit. And you think about this series, the A's won the opener, lost the nightcap of the doubleheader. We're down 5-0 in the first inning yesterday. Did come back to win. And you think of what this series could have been. And the A's not at least come back yesterday to win the way they did. But even more so, probably upset that had a chance to even get better in this series and on the road trip. And even though they set a major league record for most consecutive home runs hit per game, 25 on the road, that doesn't sit too well with what the A's will be looking at the end of this day if it doesn't change.
Engel's there. He's got it. So another easy inning for Carlos Rodon, and we are going to the bottom of the eighth. Here's our game summary brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. The A's had a 2-0 lead going to the bottom of the fifth, and then everything just kind of fell apart. 5 in the fifth, 5 in the sixth for the White Sox. So it's 10-2, bottom of the eighth inning. Paul Blackburn ends up giving up 6 earned runs in 5+ innings. Canna with a solo home run, so the A's a home run in their 25th straight road game. That's a Major League Baseball record. Hugs for Carlos Rodon, so he's going to be done after 8 very, very good innings. And the White Sox still feel like that's the kind of pitcher this kid can be if he just can stay healthy. Big, strong left-hander.
Well, the one thing Rick Renteria is probably talking about right there was the inning in which he had second and third, nobody out, after giving up a solo home run. That was in the 5th inning, and really got the next 3 batters.
Yep. Nick Martini comes in the game in left field. Chad Pinder moves into third base. So Lowry is out. So Martini will hit Lowry's spot. And action for Pinder. He shows off that strong arm, and he got it. Attaboy, Jim Wolf.
I mean, it's not often that the first baseman, watch Olsen, makes a nice stretch, gets him out, and then what's the call, Jim? And he has to look around to see the right arm go up by Jim Wolf. Nice play by Matt Olsen. What's the call, Jim?
Tell me, does Jim Wolf not look like the guy in boot camp, the sergeant that wakes you up in the morning and says, just yells right in your ear to get up?
Been there, done that.
I know you have. Tell me it doesn't look like he could be the guy doing that.
And usually they wear a shirt that's about 3 sizes too small.
Exactly, yeah, schmedium.
Schmedium. Schmedium, look at it.
Come on, look at that. Drop and give me 20.
Oh, man, it's, yeah.
I bet if they said to Ray Fosse, drop and give me 20, you said, I want to give you 30.
Well, you know, I had a drill sergeant tell me that he said, I'm going to have you run. You're going to be in charge of your little area. And he said, if you don't do what I say, I'm going to drop a footlocker on your head.
Oh, well, okay.
So I said, yes, sir, Sergeant. What? And they don't call me sir either. Sergeant. Yes. Okay, Sergeant. You know, enlisted men don't like to be called sir because they say those are officers. But no, it was boot camp was 8 weeks of, well, an experience, one that I remember. I mean, trying to run a 440 in combat boots. Been there, done that, did it? And
should have put your shin guards on.
yeah. Combat boots were heavy enough.
You would have been better off.
Yeah,
it would have felt more natural.
That's true.
Three and two the count to Omar Narvaez, who's got 2 more hits today. He had 3 hits in game 2 of the doubleheader. Gets yesterday off, starts today, and he's 2 for 3 with 2 runs scored. And that one just missed outside.
The fans join us for the annual Bark of the Park event when the A's return to the Coliseum. It's Friday, June the 29th. Next Friday, 7:05 against the Cleveland Indians, presented by Avalderm, Natural, and Nylabone. All dogs and owners are invited to a pregame party as well as a parade on the field. A portion of the proceeds will benefit Dogs for Diabetics and ARF. Learn more at athletics.com/bark.
So here's Leury Garcia, who's 1 for 3.
Just thinking this might have been the place where it first started, Bark of the Park, wasn't it?
Possible.
It's one of the first
do it pretty much everywhere now.
Yeah.
Narvaez not being held on at first. It's another ball, 2-0. Twins leading the Rangers 2-0 that game now in the 9th inning. So the Rangers down to their last at bat, trying to extend their winning streak to 8 games, but trailing. Indians finished off that sweep of the Tigers 12-2. So the Indians are now stretching things out. They have won 7 in a row. They're 10 games over 500, and their lead in the AL Central is now 8 games.
And they're heading west, and they'll be at the Coliseum next weekend. And to your point, often said, it's not who you play, it's when you play them. And it sounds like the Tribe. And Terry Francona, of course, they have an outstanding starting staff. Their pitching staff is tremendous. Corey Kluber at the top of the list. Of course, they have several. A's will see the Tribe next weekend. Spend the 4th of July at the Coliseum against the Padres, and then the next weekend be back in Cleveland. So they get the Tribe in back-to-back weekends.
That's right. You're right. 2-2 the count to Leury Garcia.
Go back to Cleveland. We get to see and hear the great John Adams beating on his drum up below the out of town or the big scoreboard in left field.
Fly ball left field. Martini shading his eyes. He's got it. So Nick Martini with quite a day yesterday. I bet he enjoyed himself last night with family and friends.
That's right.
Crystal Lake, Illinois, which is a little north of here, I believe. A couple hours, maybe northwest.
Well, as he told us yesterday after the game, a little bit more relaxed the second time. Of course, he was up still looking for the first major league hit, but what a great time to do it yesterday. Not only getting the first hit, but a game-winning hit.
That one cued up the first base line. Lucas picks it up, throws to first, and that will do it. So good 2 innings from Josh Lucas. Last shot for the A's coming up.
California is brought to you by the Chrysler Pacifica Hybrid, America's first hybrid minivan. Test drive one today.
So last shot for the Athletics. They're trailing 10-2. This guy had it going on. He's grilled before. So the new pitcher for the White Sox is Bruce Rondon. When it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your trusted oil change, tune-up, and smog expert. So Rondon for Rodon. That's right. I didn't make that up. Big Bruce Rondon, who pitched in game 1 of the doubleheader on Friday. Chris Davis 0 for 3 in this game. Ben's back out of the way. No walks and 3 strikeouts for Carlos Rodon. 8 innings pitched. That matches a career high for the young left-hander, and that one not close. So 3-0 the count. Rondon doing some yard work out there. I guess you come into the game in the top of the 9th inning, and there's been a couple pitchers out there before you. Stepping in their landing spot. And a 4-pitch walk. None of them really all that close.
And the best thing right now would be for Rodon to have a no decision. The A's would score 8.
That would be something.
That'd be great.
So we're going to get a. Well, that's it's pitch change time, Ray. You know when it's time for change. You think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service. You know that, Ray.
You got to be kidding.
Oh yeah. We may not.
authority of the Oakland Athletics and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Athletics Investment Group, LLC.
So Don Cooper says, you know what? I am not putting a referee's jersey on to stay between Renteria and Rondon. But, you know, you made an interesting point. Obviously strange that Rondon throws 4 pitches and then gets taken out in what is a very lopsided game. But, as you said, Ray, the guy who's in there now, Xavier Cedeno, a left-hander, he was down there warming up.
He was ready to come in.
Yeah.
Because as soon as Renteria walked out, Cedeno came in, and he's in there now. And
so I'm not. Yeah, I mean, that seems a little strange.
Yeah.
Because you wouldn't necessarily have Cedeno warming up unless a couple guys got on and things started to happen. But he was ready to go. And that one's inside, and the count is 2-1. Xavier Cedeno. I would not sit real close to Bruce Rondon. He's a big fella too.
He is big. He took about as long as Lee Smith does to come from the bullpen. You know, slow walking and throw 100.
That's right. I think Lee Smith had the best trotted from the bullpen fastball run differential.
That's a great point.
Miles per hour differential, I should say. And that misses, and now it's 3-2, and it was inside. Biscotti to follow. Olson today is 2 for 3. He's got a couple of singles. This one is popped up. Navarez is going to have not enough room. Now, Matt Olson has had a good series. He's 6 for 15. This one headed into our booth. No, just right above us. Bounces back downstairs. So another 3-2 pitch coming up. Cedeno to Olson. And another foul ball. Astros trying to finish up in Kansas City. They're leading the Royals 9-2. Actually not in Kansas City, in Houston against Kansas City. Cedeno delivers, and Olson checks his swing. He did not go, and it's another walk.
Well, they threw him a breaking ball, and good strong hands and forearms by Matt Olson that he did not complete a swing.
Troy, what do you think Don Cooper's saying right about now?
Wow.
10-2 lead, and 2 different pitchers each walk a guy out of the White Sox bullpen in the top of the 9th inning.
Well, one he definitely doesn't want to talk to. Wow.
Big bouncer, could be 2, and it will be 2. Anderson, Moncada to Abreu. So Piscotty on the first pitch bounces into the double play. And now the A's are down to their final out.
Something about Cedeno that the A's cannot deal with, cannot handle, and this is something about him, man. He had an 8th inning on Friday night and walks the batter, gets 1 pitch, double play.
He was a big part of them
Yeah.
winning that second game of the doubleheader. So it's up to Mark Canha, who has had a good ball game today. He continues to swing the bat. Sac fly, home run, and a fly ball to center field. Canha's home run was a solo shot in the 5th inning. Swing and a miss. Canha pulled off that one a little bit. And now the White Sox looking for one more out to get a split in this series.
I remember it's Rodon who was making his first ever start against the A's here at his home park.
In his park, yeah.
On his 4 starts, this will be the first one here. And trying to get the win.
Fegley would be next if Canha can get aboard. Davis, the runner at third. Canha hooks one foul into the first row seat, skips back a little bit. So the crowd, shade under 22,000 on their feet. Fastball in. So 3-2 the count. He scored a run in the 2nd and a run in the 5th. White Sox 5 in the 6th, or 5 in the 5th, and 5 in the 6th.
Is Canha facing Cedeno on Friday night. That pitch he just took was one he swung and missed in that fateful 8th inning.
And there's another walk, gets past the catcher. Chris Davis is going to come in to score, and the A's are going to get their 3rd run. So 3 walks in the inning.
Three walks, and Rodon did not walk a batter.
That's right.
So 3 in this inning by the bullpen. And the wild pitch allowed the run to score on the walk to Mark Canha. Good at bat by him. There's a spiked breaking ball, and Tavares just said, I'm not even going to try to block it. I'll move in front of it, but he didn't.
So Fegley will get an at bat, and the first pitch right on the inside corner first time. So Fegley came in a couple innings ago to give Lucroy the rest of the day off, and now Fegley's going to get an at bat.
Repeat.
Fegley, a little pop up, and it's going to just get into the seats. So the count is 0-2. A's will be on their way to Detroit. Quick flight. Fegley, good swing there.
Well, for Josh Fegley, a back-to-back shot. This is a home run that he hit in San Diego on Wednesday afternoon. A shot down the left field line. Good to see him swinging the bat well when given the opportunity into the old warehouse. The A's had back-to-back home runs and back-to-back innings. Two of the guys who were part of that in '97, McGuire and Matt Stairs in the dugout of the Padres that afternoon.
Fegley checks his swing. He did not go.
Well, this is what, watch the arms and wrists. I mean, it's, you start and you just stop. Especially if you can come through with the lower hand, which he did. And not roll over with the top hand and complete the swing, or at least a check swing.
A bounced foul off the White Sox dugout. So Cedeno has come in and he's thrown 22 pitches.
Rondon threw only 4.
Yeah, and he's got an earned run tacked on his already high ERA.
6.75.
Past Matt Williams, so Fegley hanging in there. Stringing together a good at bat.
And the sliders that Cedeno's throwing inside. Fegley keeps getting out in front with the top hand and pulling them foul. Gonna get somebody else up. Watch this.
Well, that'll go over really well with Coop. Just a little outside, and it was off the plate. Fans thought it was a strike, but it was outside. Wasn't really that close.
Matter of fact, Navarre set up not even for it to be a strike, especially with a backdoor slider after all the sliders inside.
So full count. And the runner at first, Mark Canna, will take off.
Soria, get up.
Get the closer up.
Well, I'd love to see those guys have to hit in this inning. That would be a treat for the A's. That means they will have scored a bunch of runs, and stranger things have happened.
Fegley bounces it left side. Nice play by Sanchez on the move. His throw across the diamond is in time, and that is the final out of the ball game. So a game that started out well for the A's ended poorly, and the White Sox get a win today. And when it's all said and done, the two teams split the 4-game series here in Chicago. So for the A's, it is on to Detroit for a 4-game series against the Tigers. Time of game was 2 hours and 42 minutes. Your attendance 21,908. Final score from the South Side: the White Sox 10 and the Athletics 3. Time now for A's post-game live. Here's